Yo, it's me. Call me back whenever you can. Love you, miss you, busy. Hello, welcome to your new number one podcast that's called Homeless. Can you tell that I'm excited? Because I'm excited. I know I've been teasing you with what's coming up, and now it's finally here. For those who know me, now you can hear even more about me. And for those who don't, welcome. My name is Masha, and I'm 21 years old, and I'm originally from Slovenia. But plot twist, I moved away at 18 to go to the Netherlands and study abroad. I'm currently in my final year of creative business, and this podcast has been on my mind for like the past 3 years. And now it's finally, like Diana Ross would say, coming out. This podcast is all about how I packed everything up and moved abroad. It was a bumpy ride, but I can't lie, I wouldn't have it any other way. Maybe going abroad isn't for everyone, but if you're thinking of going or you're already somewhere new, then this one is for you. Before we start off, I just want to be upfront and tell you what homeless is really about. It just means that once you go, you have a hard time finding your own home. But I won't talk too much about it yet. This is just an intro episode, and I really hope you like it. And I'm sorry to whoever is listening, but on this episode I'm a bit sick, so you'll hear it in my voice, but hey, it doesn't matter. Anyway, welcome to Homeless, a podcast about everything and anything related to moving and studying abroad. A little background, I'm an international student that moved to the Netherlands about 4 years ago from Slovenia to study creative business. And in the past year, I realized that a lot of people want to know about it or want to go study abroad, but no one really talks about it unless you are in this whole international bubble. So I thought, instead of sending everyone a voice memo of me ranting about how life might look like if you go and study abroad, I'll just collect everything here. It's my collection of all my past and future voice memos. And the people that know me know that I talk like a lot, and I'm chatty and I'm rarely quiet. So I thought, why not use that to actually talk about something I know about rather than just babbling random nonsense. And there's so many internationals out there and also around me, and I do think they have some great stories to tell. So I'll make sure to include at least a few from my friends. And I can't actually believe that anyone has made past this point. But if you're still listening, welcome. I hope you're comfortable because I'm bringing you a step-by-step of how it all started, but also what to keep in mind if you're thinking of studying abroad. I might be a bit subjective on this topic, which you'll realize throughout the story, but I really do think that studying abroad was one of the best decisions I've made. Let's start from the beginning though. How did I choose? How did I start? And all of that. I won't go into details, but as a kid, like any kid, I always wanted to have it my own way, and this case was nothing different. When I was 18 years old, I was in my last year of high school and was asking myself basically what I'm going to do afterwards, what I wanted to study, and I just really wanted to do something different than just pick a study just to study. I studied photography beforehand, and it will always be my love, and I learned a lot, but I was always more of a businessy type. But nothing in my hometown or my home country really sparked my interest. So as any millennial / Gen Z / whatever, I decided to ask Google, and there's so many pages where you can check studying abroad, and I just kind of started daydreaming about moving. I did not know where I wanted to go, and it took me a while to even pick a study I was interested in. I looked at a few different programs, mainly in Europe, just because I thought it would be the easiest for me to move around and also sell the idea to my parents, as well as just seeing financially the most feasible option, since Slovenia is in the European Union and brings some benefits like a reduced tuition fee and so on. But the location in Europe just didn't matter, really. I knew I wanted to improve my English, and I just wanted to do something more practical than academic, but I still wasn't sure about it. So the last few months before graduating, I really started looking more into studying abroad, and I just found some studies that I really liked, well, at least on paper, and I managed to convince my mom to actually travel to the Netherlands with me and go see 2 of the schools. Full disclosure, at that point, I had no idea where I wanted to go. I just genuinely just wanted to see the possibility. And although it seemed like a pretty unrealistic one at that point, But one of my teachers in high school actually recommended to go see the school that you want to go to like actually see if you can see yourself doing the program. Yeah, and usually schools in the same country area have open days at around the same time, which makes it easier to travel if you want to go see it in person. But almost every school, especially after COVID, has like online open days at this point. Especially nice if this is the one school that you really want to know about, but you can go and just visit it. So I went to go and see two different ones, one academic one and one more practical one. And in the Netherlands, that is like a big distinction they make. One is like a university and the other one is University of Applied Sciences. I bet every country has the same kind of thing, just names it differently. So I spent a day in Rotterdam at the Erasmus Uni and then a day in Hague in Holland. And let me remind you, at this point, I still wasn't sure I'm going to study anything abroad. I was just really feeling it out and kind of seeing what the schools are all about. And I traveled mid-February, and anybody that has ever traveled to the Netherlands or lives here knows that that might not have been the best time, mainly because of the weather. And although it was rainy and windy and just, something still sold me. Like, I think it was the lifestyle, the way that they know how to speak English, and also the study itself. I really liked it, and I just could see myself doing it, especially because I was just from a small 10,000 people town, and I don't know, it was very cool to imagine living here. So now looking back, I find it a bit funny because I thought the cities were big, but they're not massive. But keep in mind, this was me at 18 years old, that has only traveled with the car to like some neighboring countries and maybe flown to the UK once or twice, and that was it. It was also my first interaction with Dutchies and the Netherlands in general, so I really had no idea what the Netherlands is about, but that's a story for next time. Anyway, I really liked my weekend in the Netherlands, and I knew on the airplane home that it's not going to be the first or the last one flying back and forth. And coming home and talking about it just made me realize how much I really wanted it and how much it fit me. After the whole wow weekend in the Netherlands, then came the application process, and oh my god, it was a lot. Of course, each UD has its own requirements and you need to follow certain steps, but one of the most important things for me on that application checklist was proving that my English was good enough. So I needed an English certificate, and in my case that was an IELTS exam with a certain score. I think it was either 6 or 7. And as somebody still in high school, I had basically no idea how much difference there is between beginner and advanced English. And I was really scared, especially because I went to a language school for an evaluation of my English, and they scared the shit out of me. And my English wasn't even that bad, but of course they wanted me to buy the program, so that explains a lot. And of course, I ended up not buying the prep program for English, which made me doubt my skills even more. And of course, the IELTS exam took place right in the middle of my high school graduation exams. I still remember going out with my friends that night and just celebrating the hopes that I will pass. Weeks went by, and then I finally got the letter with the results, and they turned out better than I expected. I got a higher score that I needed, so there you go. One advice when it comes to application processes, it would definitely be to reach out to the uni or the people that study there. You don't know them, but I swear everybody wants to help. And if you find to manage someone that doesn't want to, I'm sure they'll give you a contact of someone that does. Especially because every country has their own processes and platforms, and it just makes it so much easier to talk to someone that has already done it and went through a similar thing or exact same thing. And of course, me being me, I wanted to do everything by myself and not ask for any help, which just made it so much tougher, and it would have been just so much easier if I would have just reached out to someone. But as someone that did not know anyone that was studying in the Netherlands or abroad for that matter, that was a bit harder, and I feel like now it's becoming more and more popular. Or I don't know, maybe I'm just surrounded by people that study abroad and that's why I feel like it. But anyway, at the beginning, it felt like there was no one in the same position as me and that I was the only one going through it, and it scared me. But it also kind of pushed me to go through with it. And the fact that everyone kept on doubting my going abroad decision, for some reason, made me work even harder. Speaking of that, one of the most common questions that I got was probably what if? The good old what if. The questions around it were probably more exhausting than the actual idea of studying abroad itself. Every person around me asked, what if? How are you going to do it? What is the smartest to do? And so forth. Long story short, I'm currently sitting in Amsterdam, so I'm glad to say none of these comments came true, which just means that, yeah, like, you don't need anybody to tell you what to do. But hey, my opinion on this topic is super subjective. I don't think studying abroad is for everyone. It's definitely meant for a certain type of people that really want it badly and know what they want, even if that just means figuring out life somewhere else in another country. And even if sometimes you feel like you're alone, you're definitely not the only one. There's thousands of internationals and they feel the same way. But today I can really tell you how happy I am. I definitely did not know that at the time, and I definitely could not predict it. But what matters is that I actually went through it, a bit recklessly though, with no plan B. But hey, it turned out better than I could have ever imagined. And it doesn't hurt to try, and hopefully you can always go home if you don't like it. At the end of the day, you simply just need to make a decision. Do you want this? And if you do, well, just go for it. And it'll be hard, and there are going to be days that you would have, you're going to wish that you're going to be home, but there will also be days that your new place will feel like home. And that's what it's really all about, being comfortable where you are, and you realize so much about yourself and learn about how the world and like how other people see it. And life is so much more interesting when you leave your bubble. And the one thing you'll realize is that your home can actually be just multiple places, multiple people, and there are the time that you make the most random memories, and they basically shape you, and you should be whatever you want to be, whether that's studying or traveling or working or just realizing what you really want to do. And knowing there's others in the same boat makes life way easier. You're never alone. There's always someone that's going through the same thing or has already experienced the exact same thing. I'm really happy that you took a bit of your time to listen to this today, and don't forget to stop and look around and see what you already have, and just ask yourself, what if it turns out better than you could have imagined? So if you're thinking of moving abroad anytime soon or have just moved somewhere new, I hope this will help you out at least a bit. And if not, then I'm sorry, you just wasted 20 minutes of your life. But by next time, we'll talk more about pros and cons of moving, experiencing a new culture, and dealing with a language barrier. And let's not forget how to live in a completely new country all by yourself, even on the bad days. Stay in touch. I might even bring a friend or two. Yeah. It's going fast, huh?